Remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touch him up. Good luck.
Who the fuck is
Larry Flowers?
I'm gonna trade this life for fortune and fame. I even cut my hair and change my name. Cause we all just wanna be big rock stars and live in hilltop houses.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am back. It's been a minute, but welcome back to the Fair But Firm podcast with myself, Larry Flowers, my dog, Colin Thompson. It's been a minute. I've had a lot of shit going on in my life. It's been wild. Some good, some bad. But it's just called life. And let me start off by saying congratulations to the 2024 Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers. Wow. What a series. What a season. What a game 7. I mean, that's as good as it gets. That's why you watch sports right there. Last night was as good as it gets. I literally, my phone was blowing up like crazy. People were trying to text me, ask me this, that, like watching. I literally shut pretty much everyone out of my life and took this game 7 match in. I had a press pass available to me from the NHL, which I unfortunately had to turn down. I just got too much going on here in California before I take off for vacation. And I wish I had been there, but a lot of my best friends were there. Uppy, Obi, my boy Travis was there. Had a lot of other friends there. And what a game. Congratulations, Florida Panthers. First Stanley Cup ever in franchise history. That was incredible. But let's back up, man. Colin, what's up, dude? What's up, bro?
How we doing?
I'm good, man. I've had a lot of shit going on. That's why we're a little bit behind. I had to miss a couple podcasts, but you know how life goes, man.
All good, man.
You gotta regroup. You gotta regroup. You gotta refocus, and then you keep moving forward, right?
Listen, everyone always say when you're younger, you hear people say, I'm so busy, older folks, right? Or people that are mature, our parents' age, whatever. And then you're like, yeah, I'm busy too. You think what busy is. And then all of a sudden you get to your age and you're like, oh boy.
It's funny you say that because I just thought to myself literally today on my way to the office, how it's weird how I've got so many things going on and I'm so busy and I've got, I'm like, how can I manage all of this? And obviously I've got a great support team here in the office and my assistant and, friends and family and whatnot. But I don't even have kids yet. Imagine when that day comes, right?
Wow.
Now, speaking of old folks, let me take a step back here for a second because I'd like to dedicate this episode to somebody very, very special to me. About 2 weeks ago, unfortunately, I lost my grandmother. Now, she passed of old age, 98 years old. God bless her. Incredible woman. Massive part of my life, her and my grandfather. May and Pepe, I love you. You're now together at last. My grandfather lived to 95. My grandmother just passed at 98. Let me tell you a little story, Colin. I think you'll like this. Good Philadelphia folks. Both come from nothing. They met in the same neighborhood at 15 years old. Okay, they're same age. They met at 15 years old. They kissed for the first time at 16 years old. They married at 18 or 19 years old. And they never kissed another human being again. They've been together their entire lives. They come from very, very, very little. My grandfather built an incredible business. He owned the largest Harley Davidson dealership in the tri-state area, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware.
No way.
Yeah, he was the man. He was the man. And I'll fire over a picture, Jack, of my grandfather on one of his bikes. He was a badass. He owned a small little twin prop engine plane that he used to take up. He took me up on the Goodyear blimp that he flew before. He was a strong man. He was a tough cookie, and my grandmother was even tougher. He comes from a really rough family with a lot of issues, including alcohol. And my grandmother, when they finally got married, grabbed him and said, "I'm in charge now. You're not going to go down that path. I'm in charge." My grandmother was tough tough, like what do they say, like an old boot. That was my grandmother. She was they were both great athletes. They played tennis every day. They swam every day. And now they're finally rejoined. And it was very emotional time for me when I moved from Paris to Philadelphia at 7 years old. The very first memory of my life here in the United States was my grandmother and grandfather picking us up, bringing us home, and singing God Bless America and teaching us God Bless America song while eating watermelon. It's on video. It's my very first memory in the history of my life here in the United States. And so they were amazing patriots. They loved this country. They're amazing people. They're hardworking people. They raised my mother, who's a saint. And May Pepe, rest in peace to you both. You're finally together. And again, this episode is dedicated to you. I love you.
Wow, really touching.
Yeah,
and that's similar for myself. My great grandmother, she just passed away a couple of years ago, 103, 102.
Wow.
Yep, from Philly, Ticoni. And her and my grandfather, who came over on the boat from Italy long time ago. She did not, but she met him, and then she ran away from home, eloped, and they got married. And he worked for, whatever it was, 25 cents a day or a penny a day or whatever it was back in the day, and kind of started our family in Ticoni. And she lived pretty much by herself till she was like 90, and then went to somewhere else. I mean, just, typical Philly, only public transportation, never got a driver's license. You could eat a meal off her front stoop and her back basement steps. I mean, it was the cleanest house in the world. All of the seats were covered in plastic. All the couches.
I know that. Isn't that great?
So
you look
Philly.
back at the plastic thing on the couches. It's so funny. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, enjoy the couch, right? Enjoy the fucking couch.
I mean, it lasts the same amount of time. So, no, I'm sorry to hear that,
Yeah,
Larry.
no, it's all good. Listen, it's all good. It certainly wasn't tragic.
No.
But what do you think it is about some people that just live so long? Like, is it just genetics, or is it like what they're eating, or is it what they're not eating? Which today there's so much processed shit. People are so fat. And it's such an unhealthy era. But
I would say what made people healthier back in the day was, and I saw this, they're like, but grandpa smoked cigarettes, but grandpa ate fried chicken every night, but grandpa had a Coca-Cola every night, and grandpa drank. Well, grandpa also walked to work every day and picked up concrete block all day long.
Totally.
Right? So it's like, I saw that and I was like, that's interesting. But I do think people are more aware now, and people spend money on their food because they're going to end up spending it on health bills later on if they don't.
Totally.
So you go out and get a good steak. It's going to cost you money, but it's better than having a bowl of pasta that cost you 99 cents, stuff like that. So I think I don't know. I'm interested to see how our group is going to age.
No, totally.
There's so much biohacking now, saunas. Like, people didn't do that shit before.
No,
so,
my grandparents never drank bottled water. They drank from the faucet. But like, I think food has a lot to do with it. I think, and I've made a concerted effort. And obviously, I cheat. I get cheesesteaks and do whatever I want.
Of course.
But honestly, I've made a very, very serious concerted effort to really start to eat cleaner. I'm eating a lot of everything pasture raised, organic eggs, grass-fed meats. I'm not a huge veggie guy, but I eat some vegetables. I eat a lot of fruit, and I'm doing this thing where it's like the kind of like the, what's it called?
Carnivore.
Yeah, the carnivore diet.
It's just carb free. It's just like, it's not carb free because people are like, oh, carbs. Listen, fruit's carbs, veggies carbs.
Yeah, 100%.
It's all good. It's just like, you don't eat some bread and some pasta. And again, listen, there's a time and place. I think, like, my wife and I do it, and we talk about this all the time. It's like, hey man, like during the week, like, let's go, let's be on it, and maybe steal a couple good meals on the weekend. And other than that, you got to rip it up because life's too short. But totally. If you let it go off the rails completely, then you're going to be dealing with stuff.
Yeah.
We're off the rails here too. I mean, we're in health talk.
I don't think so, man. It's real life.
Let's start with the Stanley Cup, brother, and we're going to get into all this stuff too. I think we have to, right? Like, first off, it was interesting. I listened to 32 Thoughts, a big hockey podcast. Obviously, Mission Curfew is big. Chicklets is big. But 32 Thoughts is like the journalist side. Elliot Freeman, Jeff Merrick. I enjoyed it.
Sure. And,
someone was like, state income tax state. And I think Elliot said, you know what? But Florida's been a team for 30 years with no state income tax. Tampa's had success, right? But like, Dallas has been around for a while. They haven't won a ton. They've had successful periods, but it's not like they're a dynasty because of state income tax. Like at the end of the day, you still need good ownership and good players. And of course, yeah, maybe your bottom of the roster is a little bit better because of no state income tax. Neither here nor there. The Kings won freaking 4 cups and they got the worst tax in the states. So,
Well, I
or
think the
3
Kings won
cups.
2 cups.
They won. How many? They won? Oh, 2 out of 3. They were in it. And they lost one, right? Yeah, they had 2 cups. Sorry. So I know it was a good run there. God, it was a good run. But neither here nor there. What a team! What a roster! What a coach! What a GM and Zito! The passion, the crying, the storyline. The Barkov's dominant. Bob's dominant. Their team, the depth. It's a joke. And they're in Florida. The videos going around of their new practice facilities, insane. Right in Fort Lauderdale, freaking Los Alamos. What a great team! What a great place to play. South Florida's awesome. Congrats to them.
Yeah. What you can say about any team that wins the Stanley Cup and any championship, to that matter, there's just so many incredible things to say about those teams because they really are just an elite team that have come together and completed the ultimate goal.
Yep.
And Florida's no different. I mean, they got there last year. They've got an incredible roster. I'm buddies with a bunch of guys on that team. So, I've had a lot of conversations with guys about, what's really going on in the room. Is it a good room? Believe me, there's guys I know in the league that I talk to that will tell you that their room is not great and they don't have a ton of camaraderie. And some of the guys, guys don't like to get together and go to dinners and shit like that.
It's small pockets. It's like 5 guys here. No.
This isn't that team. This is a family.
Yep.
I was watching one of the interviews last night on NHL Network. And God, who was it? Mark Messier made an incredible comment. He said, I don't really love listening to people call these teams, for example, the Florida Panthers, a group. Like they're a great group. They've got a good group. He took a little bit of offense to that. He's like, I would like people to refer to them as a team and even more as a family, because you really are a family. You don't always have to be born into a family. A family can be people that impact your life, best friends, teammates, people that you're going to share your life with forever, right? Those are part of your family, right? There's people in my life that are part of my family that are not blood. But he had mentioned that this team really personifies what a family is, from top to bottom, leadership, all the way from the GM ownership group, all the way down to the trainers. I mean, you saw the story that Matty Tkachuk had given the game puck at one of the, I think it was after game 3 to the trainer, and they didn't
travel. No, it was the travel. The person was operations ops.
Yes. But there's a backstory to that, which I don't know it yet. But there is a backstory to that. I guess it's some sort of emotional, personal story, which makes it even better. And I can't wait.
What a move that guy! That guy changed hockey, going from the northwest of the NHL to the southeast. And if I'm the Philadelphia Flyers, which Ottawa won't do now because they just traded for a goalie, I'm going after his brother Brady, and I'm saying, whatever you want, Ottawa, you can take it. Have a ball. Because
that's exactly the kind of guy they need.
If you don't have them, if you don't have one, you can't win. Period. You may win. You may be Tkachuk in the regular season. Okay, he's okay. Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes he's nasty. Sometimes he's not. He's not Barkov, right? But if you don't have that, you won't win a Stanley Cup.
No, you're 100% right. The game within the game in the NHL is so different from any other sport. It really is. And I'm not taking anything away from any other sport. You have to be elite. There's so many factors. You even need a little luck, even in the NHL, obviously. But the game of hockey, at the very top, the guys that you ask to lead your team, you can't just lead by scoring goals. You can't just lead by skating fast and working hard and doing it. You got to lead by being a man. You got to lead by being tough. You got to lead by fighting guys when you got to protect, certain players, when certain guys get cheap. There's a lot of factors that go in, and the Tkachuk family, that's how they've always played. By the way, it's incredible that Big Walt's not in the NHL. It's a fucking disgrace. The father,
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's a disgrace that he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Well, you know what? His boys are probably going to help his case. because
Totally.
they're very public. And he's
Jeremy
so smart.
Roenick too. I don't know why I was thinking about this last night. Jeremy Roenick too. Like enough NHL. Like you got to beef with him for whatever. These guys should be in the NHL Hall of Fame.
NHL's got beef for him because of a story he told on
Yeah,
Chicklets.
it's
That's
so
just ridiculous.
enough already. Like, hey,
They
NHL.
love Biz though. They love Biz. You think Biz has told some stories before on Chicklets?
Yeah.
Holy
I know. Like get
shit.
Jeremy Roenick, get Big Walt in the Hall of Fame. Enough already. But anyway, I would love to see I would love to see him come to the Flyers. And I said this mid-season. I don't think there's no way it happens. But I did say mid-season, I would love nothing more than the Flyers go after a guy like Sam Reinhart. I love his game. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. He's the kind of guy that he comes into the league, and I've known him since he was basically a rookie. He comes into the league, and he's got a big frame. He's got a good game. Obviously, first round pick. He's expected to be a really good player. But some guys, based on their body types, take time to develop. And not just your body, but you obviously have to grow into your body. But it takes time to develop the mind, the NHL mind, the speed of the game. Finding your rhythm within the league. And this year, it all came together. And some people have told me they think it's an anomaly. He's obviously a very good player, but this is a very special year, which it was. But some people are like, I don't know. I don't know if he's worth, major money, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I think he's worth $12 million all day long. That I do. Do I think he might take a little less to stay in Florida in a tax-free state and stay with this group? I would say probably yes.
And live in Fort Lauderdale on the water with a
totally.
golf cart.
But I would love the Flyers to go after someone like that. I mean, the Flyers they're a couple big splashes away from getting back to their roots of
Michkov
days where they just he's on my list where I want to talk about him. He's coming in. He had a great season this year. I think he had 47 points in Sochi, 47 points in 41 games as a 19-year-old. I have a prediction. I think Michkov has a better overall career than Connor Bedard. Just a prediction. We'll see what happens. I think Connor Bedard is an unbelievable player. He's got those big hands, big forearms, can shoot the puck as well as anyone in the world, and he's only going to get better. But I think that Michkov is built a little bit different. He's built more of like a big, strong Russian tank, and he can skate, and he's got sick hands, and he's got a little bit of grittiness to him. I'm Flyers fans, be ready. This is as exciting as it gets. But we're gonna have to put a few more pieces around him, and this is exciting time for Philly to get him to come in, play with Torts. Let's hope that works out. A young Russian kid like that going to play for Torts. Speaking of Torts, and speaking of one of my closest friends, Robert Bortuzzo. Bob Tooze and I were talking recently, and we talk about this all the time, but he always says, Flyers, I would love nothing more than to play for the Flyers. I want to play for the Flyers so bad. I want to play for Torts so bad. And don't be surprised if that happens. You heard it here first. There was a lot of buzz last year about the Flyers wanting Bortuzzo in a trade that was canceled for other reasons, had nothing to do with him. But I would love to see Robert Bortuzzo, who's very gritty, lean, tall defenseman. He's got a couple more years.
Is this breaking news? Maybe.
Listen. Be ready. I think he's a perfect fit for Philly, and he's a guy that vocally loves Tortorella's style and wants to play for him. And I think he'd be great for the young guys to come in and learn from a Stanley Cup champion, a guy that's been in the league for a long time now. I think he's got over 700 games now. And he's an absolute beauty in the locker room. He's a good human being. He's got a beautiful family. I love his mom.
Are you going to be able to get him into Jack's for a couple of cold pops?
Listen, Bortuzzo wants to play in Philly. He's one of my closest friends, and he's always loved Philly, especially because of me. And if he comes to Philly, I will personally roll out every red carpet that I own in my closet that sits in my house in Philly. roll him out for him and make sure he has an amazing experience. But I would love.
Is he going to stay in Handler's Loft like you do, or what?
Yeah, that's my house. That's not.
Yeah, I know it is. I know. So,
Yeah.
so Sean,
The attic of Sean Handler's home is not Sean Handler's. It's Larry Flowers'. Let's make that very clear.
hey kids, make sure you take the laundry up to Larry's room.
Larry, the dogs need to go out and then take the trash out while you're out there.
And then we're going to go to the dive bar down the street that takes cash and see how many tequila shots we can do in an hour.
If it was my mom, I'd be like, yeah, 1 minute. But if Jen or Sean asked me, I got to do it right away.
He is the best.
The best.
What a good egg. We're always
speaking of Sean
pumping your
Handler,
tires
real
on
quick.
this.
Speaking of Sean Handler, he's in Aspen, Colorado right now with his family and Jen and the kids for the
Oh, what
first
are you
time.
sending him all the lists? You're telling him where to go, the whole nine.
I gave him the list. So I just got back from Aspen, Colorado myself. I was there doing a collaboration with an incredible company called Revolve. They also own a company called Forward, women's and men's high-end luxury clothing. They have an incredible store in Aspen, right in town. And I did a big trunk show with them, displaying my jewelry and watches and stuff. It was Food and Wine Weekend in Aspen, Colorado, which is an amazing weekend. Weather was flawless. People were walking everywhere. Dinners, just good time, good energy. And so I had an amazing, amazing extended weekend in Aspen. And a week later, Sean and his family are there for the first time, checking it out. I've been telling them that they need to go there. And they're finally there. And I'm getting messages every single day like flowers. I can't believe I haven't been coming here sooner. This place is going to become a part of, we always joke. My joke with him now is we're on the back end. We're on the back nine of our lives here. I need both of us to be in sync and be Aspen travelers, co-travelers, same time, coordinated vacations. It's that special of a place, especially this time of year. I mean, obviously I love the winter because I'm a warm-blooded guy and I love snowboarding and shit like that. But the spring and the summertime in Aspen is magical. It's beautiful. The air is clean. There's so many activities to do. And it's just an awesome place. So Sean and Jen, I hope you're having an amazing time. I can't wait to share a lot of stories. The food there is elite. The other thing he says to me, he says, everywhere he goes for dinner, he mentions, he's a big wine guy. So he always mentions the wine list here is, I can't believe the wine list. It's so incredible. It's superb. I'm like, dude, it's Aspen. What do you mean? Of course. But like, he's a big wine guy and he pretty much has no budget. So he lets it eat and he gets the best of the best. So
Let it eat, Sean.
Let it eat, man. Let it eat.
From your roommate and your bunkmate at the top floor at Loft, Larry's Loft.
Oh, that's good shit.
What a beauty he is. What a great guy. Oh man,
Yeah,
that's enough, Sean.
You want to dive in real quick? Let's dive in about this game 7 just for a moment here, because there were so many amazing plays. Connor McDavid looked like they had him pretty much under control for the first 2 periods. Leon Draisaitl is clearly hurt. There's something very wrong with him. He was a shell of himself in the finals.
I'll say this though, real quick, Larry, to jump in. If you watch the last shift and they're gassed, Leon is grinding. Like,
no.
I'm like, oh, they're tired. I don't think they. And my whole thing is, listen, when there's a timeout, can they get off the ice and sit on the bench while there's a timeout? They probably can.
Sure, they never do.
Why don't they?
It's so funny you said that because I always notice that they never do. They always
Especially when
stand.
they're gassed.
They're just,
Like, get off.
Yeah, because
only
they
had
get
20-second
standing
break.
up. I get it. Like when I played hockey, if there was a timeout, I was jumping. If I'm on the ice for the next play, I'm at least sitting on like the boards.
Yeah, jump on the boards. That's what I thought. I'm like, if I'm Connor, I'm giving my legs just 10% juice. But and they all look tired, and I get that. But you got to be out there. And I think really what impressed me was Leon was still buzzing. I was like, man, this guy's a warrior. But yeah,
listen, when there's 10 minutes left in the third period of a game 7, you're letting it all out. And it was edge of your seat, phones by my side. I don't even want to look at my phone. I'm literally just volumes at like 45, which is loud in my place, biting my nails. It was so exciting. It was such great hockey. But yeah, I felt bad. Leon's clearly not himself. McDavid, they played really, really well. I gotta say, I have been not on this podcast, but I have been heavily critical of Aaron Ekblad. He is too slow to play against a team like Edmonton. He gave up, he gave up the breakaway for the one goal last night against Edmonton. He's had so many mistakes. In my opinion, he's just not fast enough anymore. He's been in the NHL for a long time. He was the weakness. He was the main weakness, and they kept putting him on the ice against Connor McDavid. And you have last change at home, so they kept. I guess they liked the matchup against McDavid, and it worked. But fuck, man, I mean, he drove me absolutely crazy the entire finals. He really did.
How about
drove
Nurse?
me absolutely fucking crazy. He's too.
How about
he's
Nurse?
Too slow, pinching. Yeah, but that was the next thing I was going to say. Is then you have Darnell Nurse on the other side, so it kind of balances itself out. I mean, Darnell Nurse making the kind of money he's making, unfortunately,
he's panicky with the puck.
Yeah, he's just not. Listen, he's just not what they had hoped he would be. It's unfortunate. It's a huge cap hit. He's making almost max money. What's he making? $9 million a year, I think.
Yeah,
he's making $9 million a year, which is, realistically, let's be honest, if you can go back in time and you can see his game, he's probably worth $5 million max.
He's just panicky with the puck. Like people are always ripping him, and just for whatever reason, I haven't been able to watch as much playoffs this year, just work-wise and stuff. I just haven't been able to. So I'm still watching, but not as detailed. Like every minute, I'll watch a period or two. But
he sticks out.
He's panicky. And you're like, dude, hold on, man. You're a really good player. Like, possess it, pull it into the corner, and make a move with it. He gets it. Boom. He's like, I bet if he speaks to someone, maybe needs to speak to somebody, a little coach in the offseason, because it could be a mental thing. Because it's like, I just think if you really watch his game, he just hasn't really developed into what you need. A puck moving defenseman that can skate. He's not. He's tough, but he doesn't play that tough. He's not feared.
He loses a lot of 50-50 battles on the boards. He's just not that good. He's really not. But Ekblad is not that good either anymore. And he was the main weakness. But my point is, Aaron Ekblad, especially in the last 5 minutes, hats off. He really did play really, really well when it mattered most. Made all the right plays. There was the Forsling play against McDavid that could have tied the game, which was, I cannot believe Connor McDavid didn't score on that play. Puck comes across. He makes an unbelievable deke move, somehow loses it, gets blocked by Forsling. Then there's a rebound. I mean, that play, you remember the play. It was unbelievable.
There were so many plays like that, man. And I think,
but that one was like, McDavid beat him. He beat him in the crease.
But it's just the effort. The mild thing is, and I know it's Stanley Cup playoffs, but Florida just flashed with effort in Game 7. Like Florida played their game in Game 7 and didn't allow Edmonton to play theirs. And for 3 games, really even 4, Edmonton could have won some games early on. Bob stole a couple, but I just think Florida.
But you need that from a goalie. Every Stanley Cup champion has a goalie that steals a couple games. Yep. Florida was absolutely beyond buzzing, but I gotta say, based on how hard they were playing, and that's as good a hockey as you can ever watch, as far as Florida's, the system and the way they chose to play Game 7, as perfect as you could ever play. But that said, it was almost scarier if you're a Panthers fan, because you only had a 1-goal lead for the majority of the game, and you're shooting the shit out of the puck, which I said they should do nonstop. They should just get points. Get pucks to the point, get them on net, look for tips, which is exactly how the first Vorhegi goal was scored. And they should have done a lot more of that, but they couldn't get a lot of pucks in. And so the shots were pretty even the entire game, which in my opinion kind of almost favors Edmonton a little bit, because Florida's throwing the kitchen sink at them, and it's still such a close game. So it was just a nail biter of a game, and it was just so exciting. That's what hockey's all about. Game 7, every single kid in the history of the hockey universe that laces them up dreams of playing in a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals, and these kids got to do it. A shout out to my boy Vladimir Tarasenko. I've known him a long time. I got a chance to watch him hoist a mug in St. Louis. He was a big part of that team when they won the Cup. Only player on the ice last night that's played in 2 Stanley Cup Game 7s. He looked a little slow too, but yeah, man, 2 Stanley Cup Game 7 victories for him. So congrats to him and his wife and his amazing family. But yeah, I mean, I got a laundry list of guys that I'm buddies. Anthony Stolarz is a good Jersey kid, the backup goalie for Florida. He's a great kid. Nick Cousins, congrats to you, buddy. Steven Lorentz, Sammy Reinhart, Sammy the Bull, I call him. Kevin Stenlin, he's going to get paid. And Vladimir Tarasenko. And there's a bunch of other guys I know on that team, but those guys are all clients of mine. And so congrats to all of them winning the Stanley Cup. And they've got to be just absolutely ripping it still right now. And that's just so cool, man.
Yeah, they're going to be ripping. We're going to get into a second. I got to give my flowers to my cousin, Pat Thompson. So Pat, Southeast PA and like South Jersey, he was one of the better players, probably a low-level Division I hockey player. Ripped it up though, you know, especially in that area, man. Those guys stand out, as you know. You could see him. So, but he played in a lot. My uncle Ken, my dad's brother, his son Patrick is the guy I'm talking about. He's a trivia fact. Panthers backup goalie Anthony Stolarz was the first goalie Pat scored on his junior career. Stolarz, who was with Edison, New Jersey, played in the NAHL for Corpus Christi Ice Rays. Pat played for Odessa Jackalopes. And then my cousin was traded to Sault Ste. Marie. So
nice.
Yeah. So he was a junior player and a solid player and ended up turning around Salve, Virginia, D3 up in Yeah, they went to they took him to the national championship. So
Salve, Virginia, I believe, is in the ECHL Northeast, maybe. It's up there somewhere.
Yeah, they're up Newport, Rhode Island. Good time there.
Yeah.
But
Anthony Stolarz is a great.
He's a big boy, man. And you know what? You know where he's probably going to end up? Backing up in Toronto. He's going to be backing up in Florida again.
He's a good goalie, by the way.
Oh, no, he is. And he's gotten a lot better. And I remember Jason Martinez, who's got a podcast at our network, who's covered the Flyers forever, said, guy's a bust, can't function, too big. Went to Anaheim, found some of his game a little bit. All of a sudden, he's kicking and he's settling in. He's another big body guy. Like you said, you got to settle in your body.
Exactly.
And that guy, it could end up being a great starter, but he's probably a great backup on a great team behind a great goalie, and he'll be cheap.
Well, not only that, listen, when you get to back up not only a really good goalie, but
Larry Flowers, I may help you.
Yeah, I know, right? When you get to back up not only a really good goalie, but a future Hall of Famer, you're learning something. You're learning not only how to be a better goalie, you're learning how to be a pro. You're learning how to do the little things, take care of your body.
And a Russian, too. They're freaking dialed in, man.
Man, they're tough, man. The Russians are tough.
They're dialed. They're so disciplined with everything, like crazy.
I like the Russian players, man. They're so good. There's so many Russian guys I know in the league, and I like them all.
Dude, I'm bummed they can't compete internationally.
It's not right. I don't care what anybody says. Leave politics out of sports. I'm not saying the Russian Federation is the good guys. They've been caught cheating, performance enhancing. They've been caught doing a lot of shit. But overall, you got to let the Russian kids play, man. We're talking about sports, international competition.
Naren, Michkov, the guy in Minnesota, Tarasenko.
It's not that. Listen,
how many goalies?
They're one of the best countries in the world. They produce some of the best hockey players in history. They are a very integral part of the hockey community. You got to have them, man. Like let's put some politics aside, because you know what one side claims the other side is a bad guy. The other side has, leave it out of sports, man.
Bobrovsky, Vasilevsky, what's his name with the Rangers? His nasty group. Like,
I mean, I've known of Evgeny Malkin for a long time.
Malkin,
listen, let me tell you something about Malkin.
Nutty.
There are very few people I've ever known in my life who is funnier than Evgeny Malkin. And that's why him and Crosby, you put them together and you watch them together in a room when they're kind of chirping each other. It's one of the funniest things that you could ever have the pleasure of witnessing. And the reason is they both have the art of making very short, witty, commented jokes. And it's unbelievable. And when Gino does it, it's even funnier because he's Russian and it's like he's got the accent and his English is so poor.
Broken English.
Especially back then. Like back in the day when we were hanging out more, his English was really bad. And so his little one-liner jokes were so funny. They're so witty. Witty is the key. But yeah, man.
Now, a question for you about Sid and Malkin. They're good buddies?
Yeah, for sure. Of course they are. They're they're like brothers. You know,
Yeah.
they play together their entire careers. They've won 3 Stanley Cups. They're brothers. There's no question about it.
So much respect for them. I never got the Flyers things like screw Sidney Crosby, man. I would give my nut.
Nah, yeah, Sidney. Anybody that knows me knows. I'll tell you right now, Sidney Crosby, my favorite player of his generation. He's the man. He is the man. He's a funny guy. He's lovable. He's
Sid or Ovi. Everybody who knows hockey is going to say Sid. It's really actually a poor question.
No, not really. There's a lot of. This goes back to my boy Keith Cohen. His family they're one of the owners of the Washington Capitals, and he knows Ovi very well. And I know a lot of. I've partied with Ovi, and we're not friends, but Ovi is as loved and beloved by his teammates and friends and people as anyone. He's
I'm not saying as a guy. I'm saying as a player.
Oh,
it's Sid.
Fuck. Yeah, no. For me, it's 100% Sid.
It's all any real hockey guy knows it's Sid. Now, Ovi, is he still unbelievable? In his prime, was he still unbelievable? Yeah. But the thing is, the difference between them, though, Larry, is right now, man, Sid is humming. And Ovi can still go. But
Ovi can
go.
Yeah, but he's like the old boxer.
He was like Peyton Manning at the end of his career, still winning a World Series, but he's not even close to the best player. World Series, Super Bowl.
Man, right. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think the Caps up and down the roster is as good as they've been in the past. Ovi can still do something that he'll never lose, and that's his 1T. Like, he can still fire the puck.
What do you think about the trade for Luc Dubois?
I mean, I've been going back and forth with Keith nonstop. I don't like the trade. I don't love him. I don't love him as a player. I think they don't mind. I also think he belongs in the Eastern Conference. I think it's better for him. But I've watched him play. Obviously, he was with the Kings last year. They expected big things out of him, and he's been a massive disappointment. I don't love his game. He's the kind of guy that plays lazy without the puck, and then when he gets it, he plays a little selfish. Not loved in the room. I wouldn't have traded for him. If Washington thinks that putting him in a locker room with Ovechkin and Tom Wilson can straighten him out, good luck. He's got tons of skill, but good luck. I wouldn't trade for him. Speaking of trading, if I was the Florida Panthers, I would do everything in my power, even though they may not. He's played his entire career there, and I was talking about Aaron Ekblad earlier. I would do everything in my power to trade a big, strong, veteran Stanley Cup champion now defenseman to work with the young guys. Aaron Ekblad, anywhere while he still has some sort of value, I'd move him as fast as I could. If I was saying
you would do like Vegas does and just and just rip the Band-Aid off like in Brian McDonough.
Yeah, you have to. Listen, you have to. It's great. You have to. It's business.
If you come back with the same roster, right, you won't win. And I think what the percentage was. He's talking about in football. If you win, 30% of us are gone. If you lose, 50% of us are gone. Right? Yeah. There's still going to be turnover, and you can't play favorites. Look at the Phillies back in the day. Ryan Howard was getting older. Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley. They signed the guys, and it was the right thing to do. But the problem is they age like that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all about managing. Yeah, you got to manage age. You got to have a good feel for where guys are progressing and developing into their bodies, into the game. There's a lot of factors, man. Being a GM's got to be so tough, man. It's got to be so tough.
Pretty cool job.
Cool job.
That is, you give your entire life to it, kids, family, everything. But it's brutal. Great job.
Speaking of the GM position,
let's go to the St. Louis Blues and Larry Flowers.
Congratulations to one of my all-time favorite human beings, Mr. Alex Steen, who won a Stanley Cup with the St. Louis Blues in 2019. He was the assistant captain, but by all accounts, anyone that knows that roster, and I do, he was the captain of that squad. He was the leader of that squad. He was just hired to be the assistant GM until 2026 to take over Doug Armstrong's GM position. He's been working really, really hard in Europe, in Sweden, working with young guys, developing guys, scouting. This is something that he's wanted to do for a long time. He's wanted to come back to the States, and he finally got his dream job. He's going to be an absolute awesome GM. He understands the game. He understands young players. He understands what what it takes to win in the NHL. And, Scotty Upshaw and Shane O'Brien said this on Missing Curfew, and I completely agree. Like, you got to start to bring in some of these guys that are like more recently retired and start to bring them into upper management roles. Like, enough already recycling these old GMs that all have their own egos and want to do it their way. Like, their way isn't today's way. And I get it. Like, doesn't mean they don't know the game, and it doesn't, but like, start to get the young guys involved. Start to get them into upper management, guys that can relate to younger players, guys to understand, even that played against specific young players that are now developing, and you know those players, and you have kind of a lot of you've got a lot of ears and people to turn to within the NHL, guys on other teams, that you just have a better feel, right? Because he might have personal relationships with guys that have really good personal relationships with other guys that he may want to sign, where these other old GMs have none. Zero. Like, bring the young guys up. I think this is a great signing for the St. Louis Blues. I think the St. Louis Blues are going to absolutely strive under Alex Steen. And obviously, I've always been a St. Louis Blues fan, and I always will be. But now I'm even more of a St. Louis Blues fan. I can't wait to go out there and visit you. Steener, congratulations. What an incredible honor. You're going to do great, buddy. Love you.
Well said. Great franchise, great place to live. A lot of former players live there, very similar to Philly.
Yes.
In that regard. Great alumni. All right, Larry, wrapping things up.
Yes.
Touch on what you got coming up, buddy. You can do some traveling. What do you got, buddy? Jersey Shore.
Well, it is summertime and the living's easy for flowers, because now it's funny. I can't really say that I've earned my vacation, because all I do is travel.
You have. Yes, you have.
All I do is travel. All I do is get yelled at by everyone, saying my whole life, my mother's words, quote unquote. I say, Mom, I need a vacation. Your whole life's a vacation.
No, that's because you're smart, and you build work into travel. And that with my new episode, Food, Drinks, Football, it's literally, hey, we're going on vacation. Great. Let me go find a bar to shoot an episode in. Perfect.
See?
So then I could sleep good at night and have a drink and not get bad.
Mom, get off my case. Listen to Colin Thompson. He knows what he's talking about. You've ripped at me every day since I'm young. Enough. I don't want to hear it anymore, Mom. Listen to Colin Thompson. He knows what he's talking about, and I think I do too. But 2 days from now, I grab Rocky. I get on the bird. I fly back to Philadelphia, where I'll be taking a nice hour and 10-minute drive to Margate, New Jersey, where I can put my feet up into my beautiful condo that I just completely gutted, and it's completely renovated, and I cannot wait to get in there. I also I just purchased another property in Margate on the sand, a block from my mother, right next to Lucy the elephant. You go to the pool, you're overlooking the ocean. A great accomplishment for myself. Tap myself on the shoulder. I'm really proud of it. But fuck, was that a hard process, getting the loan and doing all that shit. It's not like the old days, is it? I mean, they put you through the ringer. But I'm flying home on Thursday. And then July 9th, I'm taking my dad to Paris, France for 1 week for my cousin's bar mitzvah. I'm going to go see my family in Paris for a week, which I absolutely love doing. It's, obviously half of my life is over there, half my family. And so every time I go there, it's kind of a rejuvenation of my French culture, where I was born and raised. And I'm really excited to do that and see my little cousins and all my other cousins who are like brothers and sisters out there. It's going to be a really nice time, father-son trip, which I'm really looking forward to. And then I go back to Margate on the 16th, and that's where I put my feet up, stare at the ocean, go for jogs, go fishing, go to nice dinners, hang out with my friends and my mom, yell at my mom all day. Mom, clean my clothes. Mom, cook for me. I'm hungry, stuff like that.
Watch the Phillies team in baseball.
Watch the Phillies. We're gonna go to a nice training camp practice for the Eagles, which are very welcome to come to, by the way.
Thank you.
Clark, my boy Clark with the Eagles, always inviting us, and I'm gonna make that happen this year. But we're gonna go to a Philly. We're gonna go to a couple Phillies games. Go see my boy Garrett Stubbs, who's a beauty, who's playing a lot right now, obviously, because of the injury. But I'm really looking forward to an amazing summer as always. I love going home to Margate, New Jersey. I reset my mind. I get a lot of shit from some people. You can't go that long. You can't go on vacation that long, blah, blah, blah. But this is the way I look at it. I'll end it with this. Just lost my grandmother, 98 years old. Family's everything. I'm a big family person. I've been on the West Coast now for 22 years. When you don't get to see your family, the people that you love the most, your mom, your dad, friends, cousins, when you don't get to see them as much as you would like, at least on a regular basis, when you're living across the country, you got to make it count. I love going home and seeing my family and spending time with them. And so I do it at an extended period of time. It's important to me. It's good for my soul. It makes me happy. I'll value that over money all day long. Business is very, very important, but I value my family and my friends more than anything in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That will never change. I will never be about the dollar first. That's never been the person that I am. And, I'm really looking forward to it. And Colin, I expect you to coordinate with me, figure out a way to get you in Margate. Let's have some fun. Let's go hit some bars. Let's go hit some great restaurants. Let's do some live podcasts together. I need you, bud.
I'll be there. You call me out publicly and privately. I will be there.
I need you.
Fair but firm. Great to be back with you, Larry. Got a great chatter. We covered NHL's over. Man, those boys are going to be ripping it up this summer. It's been a great show, Larry.
It's been a great show. It's been a great NHL season. This is an NHL heavy podcast. Everybody knows. Congrats again to the Florida Panthers, Stanley Cup champions. Colin, you're the man. Until next one. Later.